The new year is not just a date on the calendar. It is a thin boundary between who you were and who you're becoming. This is a moment when the past is still nearby, but the future is already breathing very close. And it's precisely in such moments that the subconscious speaks especially clearly. In this test, 4 New Year's symbols will appear before you. Each carries not just a festive image, but a deep archetype of your inner state and the script you're carrying into the next year. The tree, symbol of growth, stability, inner light, and how you live your path. The deer, sign of movement, search, intuition, and the road your heart leads you down. The snowman, archetype of joy, lightness, the childlike part of the soul, and the ability to live with feelings here and now. The clock, symbol of fateful turning point, reset, karma, and new doors. Look at these images carefully. Don't choose with logic. Don't think which is more correct or beautiful. Allow yourself simply to feel. Which symbol responded first? Which your gaze is drawn to? Where inside it became a little warmer, a little more anxious, or a little brighter? Your choice is a message from your subconscious about what the coming year will be like for you. Ready? Then choose your New Year symbol and discover what awaits you ahead.
If you chose the tree, this speaks of you as a person who is in the state of inner growth and preparation for a new stage. The tree is not just a festive symbol. This is the archetype of stability, life that continues despite everything, and inner light that ignites even in the darkest period. Your soul right now is tuned not to destruction, not to escape, not to sharp turns, but to conscious strengthening of yourself and your life. Slow, steady growth. The tree grows slowly. It doesn't rush. Its strength is in patience, in the ability to survive cold, darkness, loneliness, while preserving life inside. If you chose it, it means you're a person who has experienced much but hasn't lost the ability to hope. Perhaps the last months or even years have been difficult for you. Maybe you went through moments of doubt, loss, disappointment, fatigue, but you didn't break. You preserved your roots. You remained alive inside. Creating inner foundation. The choice of the tree says that you're now entering a phase when it's important for you to create support. Not external, not only in people, not only in circumstances, but inside yourself. You're learning to be a home for yourself. You're learning to return to yourself when the world becomes too noisy. You no longer want to live only by expectation of something, approval, or support. You're beginning to feel, I can rely on myself. Memory as strength. The tree is also connected with memory, with the past, that doesn't disappear, but becomes part of your strength. You're most likely a person who remembers much. You don't drop the past like unnecessary baggage. You carry it within you, not as pain, but as experience. And now, choosing the tree, you seem to acknowledge, yes, I've been through much, but it's precisely this that made me who I am. Inner light. There's another important aspect of the tree, its light. The tree is always decorated with lights. This is a symbol that even in cold, even in silence, even in darkness, you have an inner spark. You may not always feel joy. Perhaps you're often serious, thoughtful, tired, but deep inside, you lives a need for light, for warmth, for meaning. And now this need is strengthening. You're seeking not just entertainment, you're seeking meaning that warms from within. Being a point of support. The choice of the tree can also speak of your role in the lives of other people. You're the one who knows how to be a point of support. Next to you, people become calmer. Even if you yourself doubt yourself, your energy carries stability. You know how to be nearby without destroying. You know how to support without suppressing. You know how to be quiet strength that doesn't demand applause. Your year ahead. In the next year, key themes for you will be stability, gradual forward movement, and return to your true self. This won't be a year of chaotic jumps. This will be a year when much will be built step by step. You'll seem to be taking root in your life, in your decisions, in your values, in your body, in your emotions. You'll begin to feel where is yours and what is no longer yours. Boundaries and protection. But the tree is also a symbol of boundaries. It's prickly. This is important. This is about the fact that you're learning to protect yourself. You no longer allow anyone to enter your space. You distinguish who is worthy of being near and who is not. In the next year, you'll very clearly feel where your boundaries are, and you'll become more caring toward yourself. Core message. Your soul now says, I want to live slowly, consciously, truly. You no longer want to rush, prove, run. You want to feel, you want to be, you want to grow not for someone else, but for yourself. The main essence of your choice is this. You're entering a year of inner strengthening, return to yourself, and quiet but powerful growth. You've already passed through the winter of your soul, and now light is igniting inside you. You're the tree, you're alive, you're growing. And this growth will be long, beautiful, and real.
If you chose the deer, this says that inside you now is active energy of the path, movement, and subtle following of your inner calling. The deer is the archetype of a soul that doesn't stand still, but also doesn't run blindly. This is the energy of a person who feels direction not with the mind, but with the heart. You can't always fully explain why you're going exactly this way, why you're making one choice or another, but inside there's a feeling, this is where I need to go. And you're learning to trust this feeling more and more. The creature of the road. The deer is a creature of the road. It doesn't live in a cage, doesn't tolerate stagnation, can't long be where there's no movement. If you chose this symbol, it means in your life a period of change is brewing. Perhaps you already feel inner restlessness, light anxiety, or conversely, anticipation. This isn't chaos, this is a calling. This is a moment when the old point where you were becomes tight, and the soul begins to seek new space for growth. Contradictory nature. You may be a person who simultaneously fears changes and craves them. The deer very accurately reflects this state. Outside, it looks calm, soft, even fragile, but inside it lives enormous strength of movement. Just the same with you. External restraint can hide a powerful inner impulse to change life. You no longer want to be satisfied with what is. You want to feel that you're living truly. Intuition of the root. The deer is connected with intuition of the root. This isn't the tiger's strategy and not the lion's power. This is the ability to hear subtle signals of the world. You're a person who catches hints of fate, words, chance meetings, repeating signs, dreams, and feelings. You notice what many miss, and now your sensitivity is intensifying. You're becoming more attentive to coincidences, to inner impulses, to how the world seems to hint at your next step. Soft strength. The choice of the deer also speaks of your soft strength. You're not one who presses. You don't try to take the world by storm. Your strength is in flexibility, in the ability to go around sharp corners, in the capacity to maintain dignity even when you have to be vulnerable. The deer doesn't attack first, but it's incredibly fast, precise, and unreachable when the time comes to act. This reflects your ability to endure for a long time, then suddenly make a step that changes much. Between two stages, you are possibly now on the border of two stages. One has almost ended, but you haven't fully released it yet. The other hasn't fully begun yet, but you already feel its breath. This is a state of between. It can cause anxiety, doubts, a feeling of uncertainty, but the deer comes precisely in such periods to remind, not everything must be clear in advance. Sometimes it's enough simply to move where you're drawn. The theme of purpose. The deer is connected with the theme of purpose, not loud, not heroic, but quiet, internal. You perhaps often ask yourself questions, why am I here? What is mine? What is my path? And now you're becoming closer to the answer, not necessarily through words, through sensations, through a feeling of rightness or wrongness of what's happening in your life. Purity of intentions. Another deep theme of the deer is purity of intentions. You don't love intrigues, double games, manipulations. You can be very sensitive to falseness, even if you don't always know how to express it in words. Your soul strives for honesty with itself and with others. If you find yourself in an environment where there's too much lies, pressure, or suppression, you internally close off and begin to seek an exit. Your year ahead. In the coming year, especially important for you, will be the theme of the road. This could be a real journey, relocation, job change, change of social circle, internal turn in life. Even if externally everything remains almost the same, inside, you'll be moving very strongly. You'll be releasing old fears, old scenarios, old limitations. You'll trust yourself more and more. Core message. The main essence of your choice is this. You are entering a year of movement, search, and subtle following of your destiny. You no longer want to stand still, but you also don't want to run blindly. You're choosing a path that feels like yours. You are the deer. You are on the road, and this road leads you to a more authentic version of yourself.
If you chose the snowman, this says that in you now is especially active the energy of joy, lightness, and the inner child. But not that naive joy that doesn't know pain, but the kind that is born after what's been lived through. The snowman is a symbol of pure feeling that appears when a person has already understood that life is different, but still chooses a smile. This isn't infantility. This is a mature choice not to become hardened. Created from cold. The snowman is created from snow, from cold, from what seems empty and lifeless. But a person molds from this an image, gives it form, meaning, emotion. And if you chose precisely this symbol, your soul now says, I know how to turn cold into warmth. You're a person who is capable of finding light even in difficult circumstances. You can laugh even if inside not everything has fully healed yet. And this isn't denial of pain. This is a way to survive and remain alive inside. Deep sensitivity. The choice of the snowman is often made by people who feel much. You're sensitive to atmosphere, to people's moods, to the emotional climate around you. You seem to read the world with your skin. Even when you're externally joking, inside you can be very deep. The snowman is an image that seems simple, but hidden in it is great capacity for empathy, softness, and soul warmth. The childlike part of the soul. The snowman is connected with the childlike part of the soul, that part that knows how to believe, be amazed, rejoice in small things, see miracles even where no one searches. But the choice of the snowman doesn't speak of the fact that you remained a child, but that you preserved this part, didn't allow it to die under the weight of adult life. Perhaps you experience disappointments, losses, deception, fatigue, but inside you still lives the ability to laugh, dream, hope. Inner generosity. Very often, the snowman is chosen by those who were long strong for others, who supported, pulled, consoled, helped, who were accustomed to being sunshine for those around, even when it was hard themselves. This symbol speaks of your inner generosity. You know how to share warmth. You know how to be nearby. You know how to warm others, even when you yourself feel cold. But the snowman is also an image of fragility. It melts. This is important. This is a symbol that you can be very vulnerable, even if externally you seem cheerful. Sometimes you hide your fatigue behind a smile. Sometimes you're afraid that if you show your pain, you won't be understood, or you'll disappoint someone. And then you choose a joke, lightness, irony. This is your protective layer. Your year ahead. The choice of the snowman can speak of the fact that in you now is a strong need for warmth, not necessarily physical, soul warmth, in understanding, in the feeling that you're not alone. And the coming year can bring you precisely this, more sincerity in relationships. In the next year, especially important for you will be the theme of emotional healing. You can begin to release what you've held in yourself for a long time. You can allow yourself to cry, laugh, speak, be silent not by role, but by feeling. Learning to let go. The snowman is also a symbol of accepting change. It lives not long. It appears, brings joy, and melts. This is an image of impermanence. And if you chose it, this can speak of the fact that you're learning to let go. You're beginning to understand not everything in life must be eternal to be valuable. You're learning to live the moment, not hold on to the illusion of stability where it doesn't exist. Core message. The main essence of your choice is this. You're entering a year of emotional thawing, return of joy, and inner warming. You're ceasing to be only strong and allowing yourself to be alive. You are the snowman. You remind the world that warmth can live even in the coldest time. And precisely this is now your main strength.
If you chose the clock frozen at 00, this is one of the strongest and rarest symbols. This choice says that you stand on the border not just between the old and new year, but between two states of your life. 00 is not time, it's a point of reset. This is a moment when the past has already ended and the future hasn't yet begun. This is a pause between inhale and exhale. And if precisely this image your soul was drawn to, it means you're ready for deep inner transformation. Ripeness for change. This symbol is chosen by people who have matured for change not at the level of desire, but at the level of destiny. Perhaps you've already long felt that the former version of you has ceased to be alive, that old roles, habits, fears, scenarios no longer work. You may still be inside them, but you no longer belong to them completely. And the clock comes as a sign. The old cycle is complete, even if you don't yet know what the new one will be. After the breaking point. The choice of this symbol is very often made by people who experience strong internal breaking points, loss, disappointment, destruction of illusions, crisis of meaning, sharp changes that knock the ground from under their feet. But unlike those who get stuck in pain, you've already approached the point where pain ceases to be the center. You're beginning to look forward, not through fear, but through awareness. I can no longer live the old way. Karmic symbol. 00 is a karmic symbol. It's connected with the fact that in your life a big lesson is completing. Perhaps it lasted years, perhaps most of your life. This is a lesson about dependency, about sacrifice, about fear of loneliness, about the need to be convenient, about guilt, about the desire to earn love.
You could live long inside these energies, not understanding why again and again you fall into similar situations. But now you're approaching the exit from the circle. You're standing at a point of choice. The invisible shift. And although externally this may look like ordinary life, work, people, daily life, obligations, inside is happening an invisible but very powerful shift. You're beginning to feel time differently. You no longer want to endure a little more. You're no longer ready to postpone yourself for later. You're beginning to understand that every day is not a rehearsal, but life itself. Meeting your true self. 00 is a symbol of meeting with your true self, when the noise of the past subsides and expectations of the future haven't yet drowned out the inner voice. In this silence, you begin to hear what has long been drowned out: your true desires, fears, dreams, longing, joy, pain. This may not be easy, this may even be scary, because to hear yourself means to take responsibility for your life. The question, where am I? You could live long in survival mode, adjusting, adapting, being strong where you wanted to be weak, doing what's necessary rather than what's desired. But now inside you, a question is ripening. And where in this life am I? And the clock comes precisely when a person is ready to honestly look at this question and at the answer, whatever it may be. Liberation, not punishment. Important to understand, reset is not punishment, it's liberation. This is a chance to exit from old karma, from repeating scenarios, from others' expectations. This is an opportunity to begin not with a clean slate, but with a clean soul. You're not truly losing anything. You're releasing only what can no longer go further with you. Taking authorship. This symbol is chosen by people who are ready to take authorship of their life. You stop believing that everything is decided by chance, that it's all however it turns out, that little depends on you. You begin to understand that you're a point through which the world changes, in small steps, but truly. Core message. The main essence of your choice is this: you're at a point of karmic reset and inner rebirth. The old cycle is complete, even if you don't yet see the new one entirely. You stand on the threshold of a fateful turning point. You're a person of 00, and this moment of silence before the first step is the strongest moment of your life.
Now that you've made your choice, it's important to understand the symbol that attracted you first is not just a beautiful image. This is a reflection of what you're entering the new year with. This is a message from your subconscious about your state, your expectations, your fears and hopes. The new year always begins not with fireworks and gifts, but inside. In that point where you honestly meet with yourself. Each choice is right. You could choose light and growth. You could choose path and road. You could choose joy and warmth, or you could choose reset and faithful turning point. And each of these choices is correct, because it's not random. It shows where your soul is now and what it's ready for. The future begins in quiet inner decisions. Sometimes we think that the future comes suddenly, but in the reality, it begins in quiet inner decisions, in what we allow ourselves to feel, in what we choose to release, in where we direct our attention. Your choice today is a small but very precise step toward your truth. The New Year promise is not a promise of perfect life. This is a possibility to be more honest with yourself, softer toward your wounds, braver toward your desires. Your road doesn't have to be fast. It must be yours. And if right now you felt inside warmth, light, excitement, tremor, or even tears, it means this test hit that point where your real life lives. Thank you for walking this path with me, and may in the new year you find yourself where your soul is at peace.